Hi, my name is Jack Nguyen and I'm the R3 Mechanical Lead, and in this video I'll be showing you the basics of 3D part modeling in SolidWorks using the feature tools. So first I'll be introducing you on how to actually move inside of the SolidWorks workspace. In this case, the first tool here is zoom. So to zoom, you would need to just scroll on using your mouse scroll wheel. So zooming in, zooming out lets you scroll in and out. And then to actually pan on the uh, on your part, you would just click and hold down on that scroll wheel, and this will let you pan around the part here. Next, if you want to move left, right, up, down on your part instead of panning, you would just hold Control on your keyboard while holding down the scroll wheel, and this will let you move the actual part or your screen around the part. If you want to go back to that original view, you could hit spacebar on your keyboard, and this will open up the orientation manager, and this will let you orientate your part in a different way. If I click here, I could just hit isometric, and this will go into isometric view, or you could hit one of these corners here, which are also different types of isometric or diametric or trimetric views. Obviously, you could go on either plane. You could even go on the left here and hit the planes on the feature tree, and that will do the exact same thing. Alright, so first things first, I'll introduce you to the most basic and main type of feature that you'll be using to make a 3D model, and this is called the extrude boss base. So I'll delete this part here and open up the sketch to make a 3D figure from this sketch here. You would go to features, click on extruded boss base, and from here it will basically automatically select what part of the sketch you want to extrude. In this case, you only have a rectangle, and then you could set the depth of how much you want to extrude right here. And there's different little features, but in this case, we'll just stick with blind. Click check, and now you have a 3D model, in this case a box. Next tool is the extruded cut. So this is the opposite of the extruded boss base. I'll start a sketch on the top plane, and basically I'll make a hole in the center of of this rect of this box here. Click on features after making the circle. Click on extruded cut, and it lets you make a hole. In this case, if you see the hole is being made in the opposite direction, so if I were to click check, it would give me an error. This is because we're in the opposite direction, so you would just hit this little button here, and that will reverse and flip it. Set the depth to the depth of the box, or how much you want to cut. So if I set it to 30, it won't cut all the way through. But if I go back, so right click on the feature you were on, click edit feature, you could set it to 50, and that will cut it perfectly straight through. The other features here, so if you don't want to do blind and you know you want to cut it through all, you could click through all and it will cut straight through. There's different little features here that you could tinker with, up to next, up to vertex. Up to next basically will cut only up to the next um, surface, so or the next feature. So in this case, it will cut straight through also, just like that. All right, next tool I'll be showing you is the revolve boss base and revolve cut. This one is really useful if you want to make a revolve feature part. So this case, if I want to make a wheel or a cylinder, I could make a box there, make another one down here to enclose it, and then I add a center line here. So you'll see, I'm gonna make a cup actually. So this will be a cup. Doesn't look like a cup so far. It looks like an L. But if I click on the revolve boss base For axis of revolution, I choose this center line that I sketched from before. Then you click selected contours, choose the two shapes you want. So right now this is basically just a tube. Click the bottom one, it caps the bottom. Now you have a cup. Choose 360 degrees, which will make the full revolution. If you don't, it would make partial of it. In this case, I want a full, fully enclosed cup. Click yes, and there you go. Now we have a cup. If you want to remove some material using revolves, there's another tool called the revolve cut, which is the opposite of the revolve base. So in this case, I'll go back to the plane I used previously and say I want it to have um, a pattern in the inside. So say I want the inside to look like this. So when it revolves, it's gonna have those like spiky ridges on the inside. With the revolve cut and same with the revolve base, you still need an enclosed shape. So in this case, I fully enclose this. Click on revolved cut, and then in this case, it chose this line to revolve against. That's not what we want. So choose the axis of rotation, X that out, and I'll choose this line. So I'll revolve it about that. Click yes, and if you see now it has those inside ridges. If it's difficult to see and you want to see on the inside, you can click on section view and choose whatever plane you want. In this case, I have front plane, and if you see inside, it kind of has like a kind of screw pattern. Alright, if you want to turn off section view, you click that there, and now we have an interesting type of cup design made. Pretty simple to use, pretty intuitive, and if I pull this bar down, I could revert the features that I made on the design tree, or pull it out and it will unrevert what I did. In this case, I don't want those. Next tool I'll be showing you is the fillet and chamfer. So if I go back to this cup and I want it a little bit round, I could choose the fillet tool, which will round off any edges. So in this case, if I choose this edge here and make sure I have full preview on, it'll show me a preview of what that will look like. Click yes. You can see here, I have a nice round edge. If I edit it, go back again, I could select more edges I want to round. In this case, now it kind of looks like a little shot glass or something like that. Um, there's also a different feature, so if you don't want round, but like sharp triangled edges, so if I delete those two, keep that round, I can choose the chamfer tool here. Basically, the chamfer tool gives you a more hard edge, so it removes the original sharp edge, but it gives you a more box like uh, rectangular edge, or not rectangular, a triangular edge there. So just a little different type of edge that you could add onto your parts. And then finally, I'll be showing you the linear pattern, the mirrors, and the shells. So the main ones that I showed you today so far are pretty simple for deleting and creating. For the other ones, I'll go through them in a video in the future, which mainly because they are more complicated to use. But for this case, I'll go over the linear pattern features and the shells. So say over here, I have a hole that goes through the side of the cup. So I'll choose through all both, which will go through both sides. But I also want it to go this way and that way. So what I could do here is choose circular sketch pattern, which is similar to this circular sketch pattern here. This is just circular pattern, which is used for features. I could choose the direction. In this case, I don't have a line in the middle, so what I could do is go under the hide show items and click on view temporary axis and show a temporary axis which is made from our original revolve. Then in features and faces, can click here and then choose the feature I wanna, in this case pattern. So I'll choose cut extrude. This will extrude 4, but I wanted 6, so one there, one there. Choose 6, click yes, and there we are. We have those 6 holes that go straight through um, this little cup here, which is no longer a cup, but it worked out in the end. All right, then I'll delete these here because I don't need these. I'm going to make a new part. This case is going to be like a Lego block, so let's make it Lego block shape. I'll make it a pretty flat shape there. And with the Lego blocks, each block has a little stud on it. So I'm just going to eyeball it for now. You could dimension this. In this case, I'm going to be showing you this quickly, so I don't really need to. That looks fine. I'm just eyeballing, putting random measurements. Not too important. Obviously, when you're actually designing, put the proper measurements. In this case, I'm just not. Choose this stud here, and I want more of these studs, so I could click on linear pattern. It automatically selects the feature because I was selecting it before clicking linear pattern, and then choosing the position, you could just click an edge that you want it to be uh, parallel on. In this case, I chose this edge, and then you could choose the spacing. So I'm going to have them 60 millimeters space. I want it to go on that side, so I'll just reverse and then add a few more studs. In this case, I'll have 5. So I'll increase the size here. That was good enough. And then I want a few more going down this direction. So direction 2, I'll choose this line. And I'll add 2, reverse that, change the spacing to 65, and it will duplicate the first direction down onto the second direction. And if, say, I don't want a few of these studs here, I could click on instances to skip and deselect the ones that I don't want. So say if I don't want those ones, but I want the rest, I could deselect them. In this case, I want all of them, so that doesn't matter. Click yes, and now we kind of have a Lego block. You could go back and change the height on this. So if I think this is too high, I could go back, change it to 15, and it will update the linear pattern so that they're all 15. That's pretty much how you use linear patterns. The rest are really simple. Mirror tool is similar to the mirror tool in the sketch. So say I want to make this piece even longer, I could choose this face here to mirror it about so that it mirrors on that side. And then the features that I'm going to mirror will be everything. So I'll select all of these features. Or to make it even easier, instead of selecting all 3, you could go to bodies to mirror, go under here and click on that whole body and it'll mirror that. And now we have an even longer piece. And then lastly, so I won't be covering the rest of these today, but I'll be covering the shell feature. So with a Lego brick, you know that the inside here, at least the bottom, is cut out. So I can click on shell, click the bottom here, and then this parameter here basically chooses the thickness of the shell. So I'll show that once I create the part. I'll choose 5. You could show a preview of what it looks like. So basically, it's going to cut out everything and stop at the yellow. And so if I click yes, you see it cuts out everything just like that. And it leaves a thickness of 5 from the original outside to the inside that you cut. And shells basically depend on what faces you select in the beginning. So in this case, I selected the bottom, so it will leave a cutout from the bottom. If I select this side too, it will also cut that side, but it won't cut through anything else, just those 2 faces that I chose. In this case, there's only one side that's fully cut out, and there is our Lego brick. Pretty simple to make, especially since we only use about 4 features. Um, I hope this video was helpful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.